All right, let's talk about something we all deal with every single day. The invisible design that connects our phones, our laptops, and even physical stores. It's kind of the secret sauce, right? It's what makes our digital lives feel super smooth or, incredibly frustrating. I mean, you've totally been there, right? It's that moment of, let's call it digital amnesia. One part of a company just has no idea what the other part is doing. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's just a bug, a glitch in the system. But what if I told you it's not an accident at all? Yep, you heard that right. That frustrating disconnect, it's often the result of a very specific conscious design choice, or just as often, it's the result of not making a choice. Both the really smooth journeys and the super broken ones are built, they're constructed. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how. So let's give this feeling a name. We'll call it the experience glitch. And it happens when all the different ways you interact with a company, its app, the website, maybe a call center, or even a physical store, when they just aren't speaking the same language. It's like they're all operating in their own little bubbles. Okay, so when you get that feeling like your bank's mobile app has zero clue you just walked out of a physical branch, what's really happening behind the scenes are these things called data silos. Or how about this one? The online store has a huge sale, but the physical store won't honor it. Classic case of inconsistent channels. And yeah, every single time you have to re-enter your shipping info, that's what we call a broken journey. Okay, so to really understand this, we need to break it down. Let's walk through what we call the 4 levels of connection. We're going to see how companies go from being totally disconnected to creating something completely seamless. All right, starting at the very bottom of the ladder, we have single channel. It's simple. Super straightforward. Think about a local restaurant that only takes reservations over the phone, or maybe a little boutique shop with no website. Your entire experience with them begins and ends right there in that one single, isolated place. Okay, now let's take one step up the ladder. This is multi-channel. So now the business has a website and an app and a physical store. But here's the catch. They're basically like separate storefronts that just happen to have the same name. They don't share any information. And this is exactly where our empty shopping cart problem comes from. The website has absolutely no idea what the app is doing. Now, this is where things start to get really interesting. Welcome to Cross-Channel. This is a huge breakthrough because here the channels are finally talking to each other. It's designed to let you have one continuous journey. The classic example you've probably used a million times is click and collect. You buy something online from your couch and then you just swing by the actual store to pick it up. Simple, connected. And then we get to the very top, the gold standard. This is omni-channel. Here, the experience is so smooth, so perfectly integrated that you don't even notice the channels anymore. You don't think app or website or store, you just see one single brand. What you do on one device instantly shows up on another. The whole thing just works. It feels completely effortless. So when you lay it all out like this, you can see a really clear pattern, right? The whole journey from that clunky, inconsistent experience to a totally seamless one, it all comes down to one thing: data integration. And a perfect example of this at the top is Starbucks. Think about it. Your app knows your favorite drink, you pay with a quick scan, and it adds loyalty points all in a single in-store transaction. The data is so unified, you don't even think about it. That is omni-channel in action. Okay, so that's the goal. But how do designers and companies actually build this stuff? Well, it really boils down to a few core rules. Let's call them the seamless design rules. So there are really 3 golden rules here. First up, know your user's goal. You've got to figure out the single most important thing your product does for someone. Second, be consistent but not identical. This one's huge. The experience should feel like the same brand everywhere, but it has to adapt to the specific device. And third, and this is kind of a pro tip, design for the smallest screen first. You always start with the mobile phone. And this quote really nails why that third rule is so powerful. Look, when you're designing for a huge desktop screen, it's so easy to fall into the kitchen sink trap. You just throw every possible feature in there, but when you start with that tiny mobile screen, it forces you to be absolutely ruthless. It makes you decide what really matters. You have to prioritize what's essential. And that idea of prioritizing for mobile leads us perfectly into the next big concept. Every screen, every context. Because really, applying these rules isn't just about how big the screen is. It's about understanding where the user is and what they're trying to do in that specific moment. I mean, just think about it. You use your phone completely differently than you use your laptop, right? Your phone is all about these little micro tasks, quick, frequent things you do on the go, like checking a notification or booking a rideshare. But your desktop? That's for longer, more focused sessions, like digging into a report or browsing a huge product catalog. Good design has to respect that difference. And this focus on context can get, incredibly specific. For instance, did you know that research shows the ideal size for a button you tap with your finger on a phone screen is about 10 millimeters? Seriously. Anything smaller, and people start making frustrating tap errors. It's that tiny level of detail that really separates great design from just okay design. And really, that little detail about button size brings us back to that crucial rule. Consistency does not mean identical design. It doesn't mean taking your desktop website and just shrinking it down to fit a mobile screen. No way. It means the brand feels the same, the main purpose is clear, but the actual layout is smart. It's adapted for what each device is good at. Okay, let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? What should you remember from all this? It really comes down to this. Great multi-device design is a fundamental shift in thinking. It means you stop designing around the company's internal departments. The web team over here, the app team over there. Instead, you start designing everything around one single thing, the user's journey, from start to finish, no matter where it takes them. And why does this matter so much? Well, when companies nail this, they build a ton of trust and loyalty. For you, it just makes life easier. It reduces what's called cognitive load, which basically means you don't have to think so hard. Technology stops feeling like a bunch of clunky tools and starts feeling more like a helpful assistant. Because at the end of the day, the absolute best experiences are the ones you don't even notice. Which kind of leaves us with one last big question. We've talked about this journey from single channel to omni-channel, but what's next? As our world gets filled with augmented reality, smart devices, connected cars, the number of channels is just exploding. So what will seamless even mean tomorrow? And how on earth do you design for a world where the interface is, everywhere?